Hi there. Today we're continuing our minimalism series, and I'm going to be sharing with you my two favorite items of remembrance. One of them is a decluttering secret weapon and an art therapy session all in one. But I think they're both amazing ideas, so stick around and let me share them with you. Symbols are all around us, indicating to us how to speak or when to stop or drive. Symbols remind us of people, places, events. They remind us of stories and of faith and of promises made. So what is a symbol? Why does it matter? And how can it help us heal as we let go and move forwards? Not only do symbols represent ideas, objects, events, and relationships, but symbols also allow us the opportunity to consider options that are beyond what we know and what we see. Probably the best known symbol of a relationship is a ring. Here's my wedding ring. It doesn't fit anymore, and I stopped wearing it because the sharp prongs scratched Clara when I was caring for her. At least Aaron's doesn't fit him anymore either. He's got a silicone band, and I wear this simple gold band that was my grandmother's. Someday we'll get our real wedding rings resized. But in the meantime, I've got another ring project underway. We are having diamonds made out of the girls' ashes. Yes, it's a real thing. And I didn't know about it either until about 2 years ago. There are quite a few companies that make diamonds from cremation ashes. You could even have them made from a pet's ashes. Making a diamond is a process of putting carbon under pressure for a long time. And they have these special high pressure machines where they can grow diamonds from carbon sources, like cremation ashes, in labs. The process takes about a year, so I actually have Anna's pink diamond already, and Clara's blue diamond is in the process of being made. I have been waiting for both diamonds to be completed before having the rings made. They are very small diamonds, and I want each in its own simple feminine band. I think I want to use some rose gold around the pink diamond and some white gold around the blue diamond, then have simply textured yellow gold bands. I really love the symbolism of a diamond being made from ashes, of something that is full of light emerging from death. And every time I look at the rings on my fingers, or will look since I don't have them yet, I will remember the truths and beliefs that I've been sharing here with you over the past few months. The truths and beliefs that have gotten me through this experience, the ones that I need to remind myself of over and over again. An effective symbol reminds us in an instant that we are connected to something much larger than ourselves. God himself is a master of communicating in symbol. The tree of life and the cross, the ark and salvation. Jesus Christ himself often used symbol in the form of metaphor in his parables to teach us things about life in him and life in the kingdom of heaven that were hard for us to grasp. His symbols awaken our hearts and our minds to the reality that there are more possibilities available to us through him than we can understand or imagine from our experience here. Okay, now I'm going to show you my charm bracelets, which still make me laugh out loud because I never would have guessed that something like this could bring me as much joy as these silly little bracelets do. And yes, these charm bracelets are the secret weapon for decluttering and the art therapy session combined that I was telling you about. So here's the short story of how I ever even thought about this idea in the first place. And it starts with an urn. One urn and not two. After Anna passed, we got this urn for her, and it has the pretty rose on it. And then when Clara passed, we tried to find an urn like this, but in blue, and we couldn't find one. And also I said, I don't want two urns. My decorating style is not funeral parlor. I didn't like the idea of having two urns in my house. And this thing is big and the ashes weren't enough to fill this. And so I said, why don't we just put them both in the same urn? Their ashes are divided into separate baggies. Their ashes aren't mixed, but they're both in there. We need a way to symbolize that this is the holding spot for both of their ashes. How are we gonna do that? And so I thought of the idea of making like a little necklace thing that goes on it, one for each girl, that represented some of their hobbies and whatnot. So see, there we have it. So this was the first one, the prototype. And when I made these for the urns, I thought, yes, that's it. That's the perfect solution. One urn, that's all the urns I'm having, and this sort of, symbolizes each girl whose remains are in there. And then I started messing around with these and putting them on my wrist, and I was like, oh, these are so fun. These would make great bracelets. All right, let me move this out of the way. Okay. So then I decided that I was going to make charm bracelets, and then I thought, well, this is such a cute idea. I know my mom's gonna want one. And then I thought, well, then I need to make my mother-in-law one as well. And then I thought, oh, well, my niece would want one. So I spent last spring making lots and lots of bracelets for different family members, and everyone that I gave them to just really loved them and cherishes them. And each one's a little bit different. There's some that have a lot of really similar charms that represent the girls, and there's some that have charms specific for that person and a particular thing that they like to do together, or a particular memory or experience that they had with that person. Now, obviously, these things are big and heavy and loud and clunky, and I don't wear mine very often, but it's something fun to have on those days where you're just missing them, or on those special days. Like I wore Anna's on her heavenly birthday just the other day, and I'll be wearing Clara's on her heavenly birthday that's coming up this Wednesday on the 26th. And on their actual birthdays, I wear them too. Sometimes I'll throw them on, on Christmas Day or Easter, or just a special time where I'm kind of like missing their presence. It's just a nice reminder for me to wear it. I actually made a set for my son and my husband as well. And of course they don't wear theirs, but they like to have them. It's just a special small memento for them to have. And even though it's small, it really carries a big punch because of the symbolic nature of the charms. And I just think these bracelets are a really great example of a curated memory. We've been talking about curating the memories of our loved ones in the couple of videos that I just did recently. So I'll link them below and you can check those out if you're interested. But wearing these things for a day or even an hour or just looking at them is kind of like going through a memory box without any of the negative memories and without having to pull a big bin out of the closet or the attic. It's just like a shot of pure delight. Maybe y'all think I'm nuts. So here's a bonus tip when decluttering bulky things like huge life-size stuffed animals. Go miniature. Miniature, miniature. Go miniature, miniature, miniature. I don't know. Each of the charms on these bracelets are little miniature symbols that represent memories I have with my daughters. So when we're able to think about our memories in symbolic form, we can represent them in a lot of different creative ways that allow us to let go of the mass and the bulk of the physical objects, but still can allow us to hang on to all the memories through symbol. A similar idea that if you listen to minimal content often that you've probably heard is the idea of taking photo snapshots of things and just having an album of things that are bulky that you don't want to keep. And that's definitely a good one too. And I also plan to use that one. But I mean, how fun is this? This is just pure delight. Not only are the charms a good way of representing bulky items that we want to let go of, but they're also a really good way of representing experiences that aren't captured in photos or in some other way. Like the mixing bowl charms that represent all of our baking escapades. So you can have this tiny curated collection on your wrist. Or even if it's not something you would wear, it's still something that feels nice to hold and to handle. A rosary of memory of sorts. And I said that making them was also kind of like art therapy. And what I mean by that is the process is just simple and delightful. I got all of my beads and charms at Hobby Lobby, and I know most places in the United States have access to a Hobby Lobby, and I really just found it the most economical option because they put their beads and charms on sale about every other week, and you can get them for 40 or 50% off. And they have like 2 or 3 aisles just full of all of these beads and charms. And I spent hours just going up and down the aisles and seeing all these little things and thinking, oh, that reminds me of this, or oh, that reminds me of that, or oh, they would have loved this. And just really enjoying picking them out. And then stringing the beads is something really simple. Anyone can do that. I just used the stretchy, like elastic string and tied them in a knot. And if they break, like you can just pick up the beads and restring it. It's not a huge deal. It doesn't take a ton of time or skill to do it. The act of stringing the beads and handling the little symbols just really reinforces that transformation of the memories into symbols. And I got a lot of joy out of doing it. And I bet you would too. So if you know someone who has recently lost someone and you're wanting to just do a little something extra special to them, I think this would be a great suggestion. You could give them a gift card to Hobby Lobby and tell them about the project, or even offer to like hang out with them as they're doing the project and listen to their memories as they're making the bracelet. Now, obviously we can't turn everything into a symbol, and we can't take all the memories and make them into cute little things. And maybe the things I've suggested to you, you think are silly, or they're just totally not something you would do. And I get that. I never thought this would be something I would do either, but I love them. But these are just some ideas to get your wheels turning. And I think there's a lot of different creative projects that you can engage in where you're turning the memory into something symbolic. And I think that those symbolic memories are really the goal when we're minimizing, but also when we're moving forward in our grief, because our grief changes us. But we can move forward in it. In some ways, I feel like things with a symbolic nature let you hold on and move forward at the same time because they're light. They lighten your load. So that was a pretty different kind of episode, and I guess that's it for today. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe. Okay, see you soon.